Gentlemen, in this video I would like to talk about outsourcing your sex life. As a man in the Western world, you're used to hearing all about outsourcing, how jobs are moving to the developing world because labour costs there are much cheaper than in the Western world. If you work in manufacturing or in information technology, then outsourcing will be a topic you have heard a lot about. At the office, we are constantly hearing from our superiors that we have to provide value. We need to remain competitive. We need to ensure we are providing high-quality product or service to our clients. We see management constantly playing corporation games with the corporate hierarchy, moving people around in the hierarchy like we are pawns on a chessboard. We have individual performance agreements that list our roles and responsibilities, and regular reviews to ensure that we are meeting our agreed list of key performance indicators and that we're adding value in our role. Let's think about these concepts when applied to our sex lives. Most of us will have had a lot of experience being in a long-term relationship. We know that over time, despite the best of our intentions, the quality and the quantity of sex diminishes. As the love hormones wear off over the course of a few years, we become comfortable with one another, and the intense feelings that brought us together in the first place disappear. It's nature's way of telling us that it's time for us to mate with a new person and to further propagate our genes. As we are part of a couple and in a relationship, almost all of us would not have any written agreement with our spouse which details each other's roles and responsibilities and key performance indicators when it comes to important things that each partner values. Even if we do, making a written agreement about quality and quantity of sex would almost certainly be seen negatively by the female. If she is a highly educated woman, she might call it inappropriate. Otherwise, she would certainly call it unromantic. Let's get down to brass tacks and bottom line why a corporation outsources, shall we? It's a way to produce their product or service at a much lower cost, which allows the corporation to make a higher profit. In the vast majority of cases, the product or service that the corporation provides can be provided at an identical or near identical level of quality overseas at a much lower price. So it makes sense to outsource, given that a corporation's loyalty is to its shareholders who have invested their hard-earned money in the corporation in order to see a positive return on their invested funds. In the Western world, under institutionalized feminism, us men have gotten the bad end of the stick. Our society's high level of technological and societal development has enabled Western women to unleash their built-in hypergamy and to look up to higher status men whilst leaving the average man access only to below average women. We men compete with each other for access to women. If we have high status, a high-paying job, assets and resources, then we are in high demand from women at lower levels of status than ourselves. There is a high demand from us men for young, beautiful women. We are interested in high-quality sexual experiences with them. If we are honest with ourselves, we will admit that variety is important, and we need to maintain a level of freedom to ensure that we are able to butterfly from one woman to another. This behaviour, of course, is seen as completely inappropriate, as women want to tie us down and control us. A man who refuses to commit is a man that a woman cannot adequately extract resources from. It's the resource extraction from men that I would like to talk about here in more detail, because essentially it amounts to us spending money on dates, dinner, movies, flowers, home, family, mortgage, utilities, and so on. Let's consider ourselves for a moment as a corporation. The money we are spending is buying access to a woman's sexuality. Our return on our invested funds is sex. It's very high cost sex, however. The price of sex with a long-term partner in the Western world is very high indeed. The sexual service are also, generally speaking, of low quality. If you have your eyes open as a man, you may have noticed that Western women are overweight, bitchy, obnoxious, entitled, spoiled, and not interested in taking care of a man's sexual needs. Sex really is a chore for them. They do it reluctantly to keep us around in order to keep us providing services to them that they value in us men. Sex is a lost leader for women. It's a known thing that lesbians have the least amount of sex and gay men the most. That speaks volumes about a woman's real sex drive. So is there a way for us men to gain access to higher quality sexual services at a lower price by outsourcing our sex lives to a lower cost country? The answer is a resounding yes. So, you've decided the price of sex is too high in the Western world, and as the CEO of You Incorporated, it's time for you to look for an outsourcing arrangement. Just like a big corporation, you're looking for the highest quality service at the lowest possible price. You know you will have a big advantage once you have successfully outsourced your sex life. Financially speaking, you will have reduced your costs, which will increase your return. The very high price you are paying for sex in the Western world will be reduced considerably, and at the end of the financial year, your bottom line will be higher. You will have made a higher profit, and as the biggest shareholder in You Incorporated, that profit is all yours. Note carefully as well, you will have substantially reduced your risks because you have removed the ability for any one woman to divorce you and take half of your corporation's assets. You begin your search in the developing world. Southeast Asia. Thailand is high on your list. You've heard good things about Thailand. The women there are all young, eager to please, easy to deal with, and easy to train and mould to your exacting requirements. Much easier than dealing with the Western woman you are used to receiving services from. So you go to Thailand on that very first trip. You head to Pattaya to meet your new team and to see how they perform. You're amazed at the sexual experiences you have with the variety of young women or ladyboys in Soy 6. You can't believe that a place like this really exists in this world. The prices as well are all amazingly low, under 100 Australian dollars for a 2-hour short time experience, including the bar fine. You do the calculations and you realise that you can have a different partner every night here, and it will cost you $1,400 a fortnight. You are used to receiving sexual services from your Western woman at most once a fortnight these days. Your mind spins as you come to the conclusion that the poor quality, lack of variety sexual services you're receiving from your woman would cost you $2,600 a year here in Pattaya, and you could have that sex with 14 different women. As CEO of You Incorporated, you have a duty to provide the highest return to your shareholders. As the corporation's largest shareholder, you see that it will be you that will be benefiting most by outsourcing your sex life. Doing so will dramatically reduce your costs and increase your return. You return home to the Western world. You explain to your woman that your company is going through a restructure at the moment. Outsourcing has been investigated and has been found to provide a higher quality service at a much lower price and with none of the negative externalities. Google that word and think about what negative externalities exist whilst in a relationship with a Western woman. You'll be surprised. She has not been fulfilling her roles and responsibilities. She has not met nor exceeded her key performance indicators, and it's time for her to move on due to her poor performance. Her services will no longer be required. You have found more appropriate human resources who will fulfill their roles and responsibilities without the constant nagging, complaining, cajoling, critiquing, and overall negativity that she does. They will dramatically exceed the key performance indicators that you have set down for them at a much lower cost, and they have every incentive to perform and to make you happy as a man, as it's their livelihood that we're speaking about here. Outsourcing. Corporations do it when the prices are too high. Why can't you do it in your sex life? Outsourcing your sex life is a powerful strategy which neutralises completely Western women's power over you as a man. They lose big time if you do this. They have no counter strategy except to shame men who do it. Shame is often directed from a person who has lost power. If Western men en masse outsourced their sex lives, Western women would be forced to change their behaviour. All the best, gentlemen. I'm the Pretender.